For this video, we're breaking down the 15 best brawlers to max out in Ranked for Season 36. Ranked 2.0 has completely changed the way competitive Brawl Stars is played. And with the recent gadget rework, every brawler now has cooldown-based gadgets instead of limited uses. This change has completely shaken up the meta. And in this video, we're covering the top picks that will help you dominate. Before I give you all this valuable information, I noticed that over 95% of you watching aren't subscribed. If you enjoy high-quality Brawl Stars content like this, hit that subscribe button. It only takes a second, and you can always change your mind later. Now, let's get started. For number 15, we have Bee. Bee is one of the best carry brawlers in Ranked. Her supercharged shot lets her destroy tanks like Ash, Hank, and Frank. And now, with the gadget rework, she can spam Rattled Hive constantly to force enemies out of position. Her hypercharge increases the size of her super, meaning she can slow down an entire enemy team at once if they group up. Bee's biggest weakness is her limited versatility. She relies heavily on landing her shots and staying at max range. If enemies get too close, she struggles to fight back. That's why positioning is key. Always play from a distance, use Rattled Hive to control choke points, and time your super to slow multiple enemies at once. Bee shines in Bounty, Knockout, and Open Map Hot Zone matches, where she can take full advantage of her range. For number 14, we have Brock. Brock is a great last pick option in Knockout and Bounty, but only when the enemy team has mostly short-range brawlers. His Rocket Fuel gadget guarantees free hits and completely removes cover, making it impossible for tanks or assassins to hide. If you're picking Brock, you should be focusing on breaking the map as soon as possible, using both your gadget and super. One thing to keep in mind with Brock is that his main attack is slow and easy to dodge at max range. Because of this, you need to predict enemy movement, instead of just aiming directly at them. The best way to use him is to control lanes and keep enemies at a distance. If you land your shots consistently, Brock can completely take over a match. Just make sure you don't pick him too early in the draft, or the enemy team will counter him with long-range brawlers. For number 13, we have Leon. Leon is one of the sneakiest brawlers in the game, and in Bounty, Knockout, and Brawl Ball, he's a nightmare to deal with. His Lollipop Drop gadget makes your whole team invisible, giving you the upper hand. Plus, his super lets him sneak past defenses, take out squishy brawlers, and control the map effortlessly. However, high-ranked players know how to deal with Leon if you play too predictably. The key to using him effectively is mixing up your movement and attack angles. Don't always use your super to go directly at the enemy. Sometimes it's better to fake them out or flank from a different direction. With the hypercharge, Leon gains insane movement speed, making it even easier to chase down targets. If played correctly, he's one of the best assassins in the game. For number 12, we have Janet. Janet is one of the most flexible and powerful brawlers in Ranked. Her hypercharge is basically a free kill, letting her rain bombs while hovering over enemies. Her gadget gives free vision, making it impossible for enemies to hide. She can play as a lane brawler or a mid, and no matter what mode you're playing, she'll always be a strong, safe pick. What makes Janet unique is her ability to control space. She can force enemies out of bushes, keep them back with her range, and completely dominate open areas. If you're using her hypercharge, don't just spam bombs randomly. Predict where the enemy will move and block their escape. The best Janet players use her gadgets to check bushes before diving in and know when to take flight for maximum impact. For number 11, we have Squeak. Squeak's wind-up gadget buff made him insanely powerful in Ranked. Now he can keep enemies zoned out constantly and stack massive damage over time. His gadget cooldown is only 11 seconds, meaning he can spam it nearly every fight. If you can predict enemy movement and stick your shot, Squeak can completely lock down an entire lane. His super and gadget combo is where he truly shines. With the slowed star power, he can make it nearly impossible for enemies to escape once they're hit. Squeak is especially good on objective-based modes like Hot Zone and Brawl Ball defense, where controlling space is crucial. His biggest downside is his slow projectile speed, meaning you have to lead your shots and predict movement instead of aiming directly at enemies. Now we're entering the top 10, and this is where the most game-changing picks come in. For number 10, we have Lou. Lu is still one of the most underrated control brawlers in Ranked. His super covers entire zones, making it almost impossible for tanks like Ashe, Hank, and El Primo to play aggressively. His hypercharge makes his super even bigger, meaning in Hot Zone and Brawl Ball, you can completely block the enemy from pushing forward. Lu shuts down Barry tank comps completely because his freeze makes it impossible for them to push forward. However, he struggles against Poco tank comps, since Poco can use his Protective Tunes gadget to remove all effects. If you're playing Lu, always focus on throwing your super where the enemy needs to go rather than where they are. A well-placed freeze can completely flip the game in your favor. For number 9, we have Meeple. Meeple is an absolute headache for enemies, especially after the cooldown rework on gadgets. His Rage Quit gadget stuns enemies, making it a top-tier defensive tool in Brawl Ball to stop last-second goals. His Dice gadget can block enemies, buy time in Hot Zone, and completely mess up enemy movement when placed correctly. His super lets him shoot through walls, making him an annoying brawler to deal with in tight spaces. Meeple is all about controlling the fight. If an enemy is stuck behind a wall, use his super to chip them down safely. In Brawl Ball, Dice can block a goal-scoring path, while Rage Quit stuns the ball carrier at the worst possible time for them. Just watch out for long-range brawlers that can poke him down before he gets value. For number 8, we have Barry. Barry is a tank's best friend, keeping them alive through almost anything with his insane healing super. His super charges super fast, making him nearly impossible to take down if played right. A smart Barry player knows when to take damage on purpose to build up supers faster. But you never want to do this against brawlers like Leon, Tara, or Lu, since their supers can turn the whole fight against you. Barry shines in extended fights. His playstyle is simple. Stick with your team, take controlled damage to cycle supers, and use your healing to turn fights around. In Hot Zone and Brawl Ball, he's an absolute nightmare for enemies trying to finish off your team. If you're still watching, you're serious about improving in Ranked. Drop a like and subscribe. It really helps the channel grow and lets me know which content you like the most. Now, let's keep going. For number 7, we have Ashe. If you like playing aggressive tanks, Ashe is one of the best picks in Ranked right now. His super spawns rats that force enemies to waste ammo, while his heal gadget now recharges over time, making him even more difficult to deal with. His hypercharge makes him an unstoppable force, letting him rush down enemies, soak damage, and keep cycling supers. Ashe is all about overwhelming enemies. A great strategy is to throw his rats at long-range brawlers to make them waste shots, then close the gap while they reload. If you're low on health, pop your heal gadget right before diving in so you can soak extra damage while staying aggressive. For number 6, we have Griff. Griff is the perfect anti-tank brawler, tearing through high HP enemies and forcing them into bad positions. His super breaks walls, completely changing how fights play out. Against Barry tank comps, he shreds through the front line, and if you coordinate with your team, he can even counter Poco comps by forcing burst fights before Poco can heal. Griff isn't just about breaking walls, he's about taking control. If you open up the map early, it eliminates hiding spots for throwers like Barley or Tick. Pair him with sharpshooters like Bee or Piper to maximize his effectiveness. In Hot Zone, breaking one side of the zone forces enemies into exposed areas, making them easy targets. Alright, we're down to the top 5, and these picks are absolute must-haves for any serious ranked player. Starting at number 5, we have Stu, a brawler that takes skill, but rewards you with insane outplay potential. Stu is one of the most reliable and high-skilled brawlers in Ranked. His super gives him constant movement, letting him dodge shots, apply pressure, and control lanes. His Speed Zone gadget now recharges, so he always has a speed boost available. With Hypercharge, he gets even faster, making him even harder to hit while dealing huge burst damage. Stu's strength is in his movement. His Hypercharge makes him even harder to catch, letting him zip around fights and take out key targets. If you need to escape a bad situation, drop your Speed Zone turret defensively. It can give you the extra mobility you need to survive and reset. For number 4, we have Poco. Poco is the best healing support in Ranked, especially against aggressive tank comps. His Protective Tunes gadget cancels out effects from brawlers like Lu, Cordelius, and Terra, making their supers useless. His healing gadget now recharges over time, meaning he can keep spamming heals and make himself and his team almost unkillable. Poco's all about teamwork. In Hot Zone and Brawl Ball, stick close to your teammates and spam heals to keep them alive. If the enemy has strong burst damage, hold onto protective tunes for the perfect moment. Using it too early might leave your team vulnerable later. He might not deal a lot of damage, but his ability to keep the team alive makes him one of the best picks in Ranked. For number 3, we have Mr. P. Mr. P becomes an absolute menace once he gets his hypercharge. His super floods the map with porter bots, forcing enemies to waste ammo constantly. His reinforcement portal gadget is even stronger now with the cooldown gear, letting him spawn more bots and keep control over lanes. Mr. P is at his best when he's setting the pace of the fight. In Knockout and Bounty, place your super on your side of the map so it summons porter bots safely. In Hot Zone, drop it near the objective to apply constant pressure. He works best when chipping away at enemies from behind walls, so don't rush into fights you don't need to take. We're down to the final 2 picks. But before we reveal them, let me know in the comments, do you agree with this list, or is there a brawler you think I missed? I read every comment. For number 2, we have Ollie. Ollie is one of the most dangerous brawlers in Ranked. His Super Plus gadget combo is ridiculously strong, letting him stun enemies, hypnotize them, and get a free kill. He has some of the highest HP in the game, making him super hard to take down. Ollie's super is also one of the best goal-scoring tools in Brawl Ball. You can push enemies away from the goal and walk the ball in easily. His Regulate gadget lets him jump into fights safely, but only use it when you're sure you can secure a kill. In Knockout, wait until the final enemy is exposed before using your full combo to guarantee the win. Finally, for number 1, we have Hank. I can't believe I'm saying this, but Hank went from being one of the worst brawlers in the game to the absolute best. Just a few months ago, nobody took him seriously, and now he's completely dominating Ranked. His hypercharge is basically a free win button, locking onto enemies and wiping them out in overtime. His shield gadget recharges, making him insanely tanky. And if you pair him with a wall breaker, he's almost impossible to stop. Hank is all about waiting for the right moment to strike. In Brawl Ball or Hot Zone, position yourself near key choke points so enemies have no choice but to walk into your range. Charge up your attacks and wait for the perfect opportunity. One well-timed hit can wipe out entire teams. If he doesn't get nerfed soon, Hank will continue dominating Ranked. And let's not forget about Milky. This skin somehow makes Hank even scarier, because there's nothing more humiliating than getting destroyed by a giant floating milk carton. And that wraps up the 15 best brawlers to max out in Ranked for Season 36. With Ranked 2.0 and the gadget rework, the meta is shifting fast. So make sure to upgrade the right brawlers to stay ahead of the competition. Let me know in the comments which brawlers you think should have made the list, or if you've been dominating with any of these picks. If you found this video helpful, drop a like and subscribe so you don't miss out on more top-tier Brawl Stars content. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.